While I've got those steaks coming up to room temp just inside, or on a plate rather, with some paper towels, I've got those just drying out right now, coming up to room temp. While that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and start breaking down some of these mushrooms. I'll show you guys a little bit of the B-roll of the farmer's market and where I picked them up, but I ran into this little stand, I suppose, and he had so many mushrooms. I've literally never seen this assortment of mushrooms available at one stand before. So I went ahead and grabbed a little bit of everything that he had, and I'm gonna go ahead and make like a medley for our sandwich. That was really choppy, I'm sorry. Let's get it started. So this big one here, if you're not familiar, is lion's mane. It's often used as a substitute when doing vegetarian steaks. So I think I'm gonna do some really thin ones of that and go ahead and make a layer of that onto this steak sandwich as well. This is gonna be my steak, or steak. Look at the size of this cluster, guys. Oh my goodness, freaking beautiful. Okay, and for anyone wondering watching this, oh, are you gonna save some for Aaron or Kraz, more like? Yes, I am. I'm actually bagging a little bit for him separately for tomorrow. So I'm actually anticipating that the mushrooms are gonna take a lot longer than the steak's actually gonna take, even with the rest, just because I'm gonna throw it in with like probably 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter and into a large pan, and then just very, very slowly bring those up in heat until they're nice and golden brown. And I'll let you know exactly how long that takes. I decided I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna bring it up on medium heat. Now that I can hear those mushrooms sizzling away, I'm gonna go ahead and put some attention on the steaks. I'll put a link inside the description. Another local vendor up here. Amazing looking stuff, guys. Now that these have been sitting out for probably about 30-35 minutes coming up in temp, I'm just gonna salt and pepper each side. Definitely lighter on the pepper than the salt. I'm gonna cook everything inside a cast iron the same as I always do, just with a little twist to it. Don't forget to mix your mushrooms. Now that I've got everything ready with that, I'm gonna throw about 1 tablespoon of butter onto the cast iron, wait for that to get nice and hot, throw these steaks down laying away from me, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give that a little bit of pressure just to make sure that we can get a nice crust on it. I said 1 tablespoon, I actually meant half a tablespoon. That moment has come for these mushrooms. They're nice and soft, and now I'll show you what that looks like. Everything's nice and soft and not mush. I'm gonna go ahead and now take the time to salt and pepper it. Very light on the pepper. I'm gonna mostly just be salting it. And yeah, I've killed the heat almost, turned it as low as it can possibly go. And I'm gonna let that go until I'm ready to plate them. While those are both cooking away, I'm gonna take the time to make this chimichurri. If you're new to the channel, it's amazing. It's some spicy chimichurri. If you aren't new to the channel, I know you guys have seen me make it a couple times. It's just that good. Please make it at home if you haven't for yourself. But this is how you're gonna do that. This one's gonna be a tiny bit different. It's got a couple more ingredients to it. I will also add, I'm making some to take home for Kraz, so it's gonna be a bigger bulk. I'll go ahead and I'll condense that down when I add it to the actual description. So it's more so just when you're watching this, if you wanna make as much as I do, go ahead and just follow these ingredients. If not, like I said, in the description, I'll have that all condensed down to make probably like, say, half a cup. I'm gonna start with probably 4 cloves of garlic minced. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in with these. I'm also, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna set aside probably 3 of these larger cloves for the cook for the butter base that we're gonna do to our steaks. So ordinarily when I cook a steak, I will add the garlic, thyme, and rosemary to it if I can. It's gonna be very, very herb heavy with the chimichurri, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do garlic. So I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of garlic into, 3 tablespoons of butter, and then our 3 cloves of crushed garlic, and then I'm gonna go ahead and baste our steaks over. Okay, I just realized it might not have looked it on the video, but this is a 1/2 inch thick, and look how big this thing is. It's actually huge. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take it, like I was talking about before, I'm gonna go ahead and just lay it straight on here. Ooh, burn myself a little bit. Giving it a little bit of pressure. It's gonna make a sear, so it's gonna sear the same as a steak would, at least from what I'm told. So I'm super excited to see that the way that turns out, and even more excited to see the way it tastes. All right, I just took a little peek. Look at this. This is after heat of like 90 seconds, everybody. Like that is insane. Okay, back to what I was doing. 4 cloves minced garlic. We'll clean these up real nice. Awesome. So before I get this mixed up on camera right now, it's gonna be 3 bushels of cilantro. It's gonna be equal parts of the following. It's 13 grams. If you guys are US based, it's gonna be those little packages. It'll be basil, dill, and chives. How could I forget? 2 stalks green onions. Next thing, I'm gonna add the spice to this, which is going to be from these pickled hot peppers. We did the same thing the first time Kraz and I did it and we made it spicy. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump these into a large bowl, separate the red ones, mince those up, and throw them right in. I'm sure that you could buy these as just the red ones, and I'll just eat these green ones as a snack or something, but I don't know why. I find myself buying them in the combinations just to use half of them. While I was putting this away, I actually realized that I'm gonna use a little bit of this liquid. I'm not gonna use too much because it's gonna be really spicy if I do, but I'm gonna use some of it just to mitigate the amount of oil because it ordinarily is a decent amount of oil. Speaking of, I'm gonna go ahead and just start liquefying it. I'm gonna hit it with salt, pepper, and then just adding as much oil as I feel needed until it's got the nice consistency that I want, but I'll definitely show you what that looks like. Let's see how that steak looks. It's a little over what I wanted it to be, but for some, this would actually be perfect. Let me know down in the comments how you like your steak cooked, by the way. So these mushrooms have been going on low now for probably about 12 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank those up to high. Let's get some nice color on them, and I'm gonna throw in, right before they're done, I'm gonna throw in a handful of baby spinach just to cook it down, nothing crazy. Also, while that's happening, I'm gonna take the opportunity, I got some local bread, so I'm super stoked on this. I'm gonna go ahead and just half it, throw it on the griddle at the same time, just put a nice toast on it and put everything together. That cast iron has more than enough butter and everything still in it, so I'm not even gonna worry about buttering these. Look at the way this turned out, guys. That is amazing. So lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and take this time, grate up some cheese. Those buns are almost done. So as soon as they come off, I'm gonna throw the grated cheese over and put everything together. So I've got the shredded Parmesan on top of the local bun here. I come in with a big scoop of this spicy chimichurri. Generous, there we go, that's English, portion of our steak here on top. Our cauliflower steak on top of our steak. Then a nice healthy portion of that medley that we've just got off there as well. Grate some more cheese over the top, tiny bit more pepper. Look at that. That looks so good. And there we have it, everybody. That's how I would turn those simple local ingredients into what I think is the perfect steak sandwich. Thanks again for everybody for joining me and everyone who's made this be able to happen. This is seriously my absolute dream. So thank you again, and I'll catch you in the next one.